Okay, in a recent interview with Ultimate Classic Rock, Gene Simmons named what he feels is the worst Kiss album, and he also took responsibility for the album being bad. And of course, the album that he named is Music from the Elder. And here is the quote from the interview. Quote, "I take the blame for it because it was my idea. I remember telling producer Bob Ezrin that I was writing a movie script. We were making a concept album based on that. And from there, they decided that what they wanted to do was kind of make their own version of Tommy." Now let's listen to Gene Simmons talk a little bit here in an interview about the origins of the concept of Music from the Elder, and then I'm going to comment on what he said.
Because I started to fool around with movies and meeting those kinds of people, go to Paramount Pictures, like all that stuff. And eventually I'd wind up doing a few movies and producing some, but it wasn't the real thing for me. And I started writing. And the thing I wrote was on the Beverly Hills Stationery Hotel, The Elder. When the earth was young, they were already old and all that stuff. And it started with a story treatment that I wanted to turn into a movie. Tolkien-esque kind of a thing, and inspiration from The Watcher, from Marvel, and so on. We brought Bob Ezrin back, who had produced possibly our best record, Destroyer, up until then. It was Bob Ezrin who said, let's do a concept record. Gene, I like your story. Let's craft songs based on your story.
All right, now let's listen to Paul Stanley talk a little bit about what happened once Bob Ezrin came aboard.
When we got together with Bob Ezrin, really hoping that he would help us save the ship, so to speak, we all just jumped on this idea of, we'll show people, we'll show them how smart and musical we are. That really came from going, well, at the moment we can't rock. Well, you can't get away from Bob's discography and his credits, and whether it was really shaping Alice and the band into what they were. I mean, I saw that firsthand when we worked together on Destroyer, and all of a sudden I went, oh, now I know where that bass part comes from, or that drum figure. Bob was intrinsic and so important, certainly to Alice, and The Wall is a testament to his brilliance, and Destroyer was a real boot camp for us. Quite honestly, I think we were all hoping to do something great. And, you know, sometimes you fall. And when you fall off 8-inch heels, you fall.
So there, what Paul is saying is that they had all of the elements in place to do something great, and they had all of the confidence in the world that they were going to do something great, and they had effectively done some great work in the past with the same elements, and they put it all together, and it just didn't come off. Now, back to the Ultimate Classic Rock interview, I'm going to quote here from Gene Simmons again, and here's the quote. Quote, "Ezrin said, let's do our own Tommy. I said, yeah, if The Who can do it, why can't we? Well, the straight answer is, because we're not The Who." And Simmons went on to say, "There are some fans who love the record, but to me, it was dishonest," end quote. Now, I think that those are the two reasons why the album failed. Simmons put his finger right on the pulse of what makes The Elder a bad album. The first element is that Kiss is not The Who. In other words, Kiss is not a progressive band. Kiss is not an experimental band. Kiss was a hard rock party band, not a progressive band, and they were not only a hard rock band, but they were a singles band. They're popish, they're short, they have catchy hooks, they have catchy solos, but they're based around hard rock music. Now, the second thing that he said there is that the album was dishonest, and this is quite true. If you go back and listen to the first few Kiss albums, Hotter Than Hell, or Just to Kill, or Love Gun, or even Destroyer, one thing you'll find is that the band's character is intact. Whatever you want to say about Kiss as a musical entity, they have a distinctive character, and I could break down those elements for you, but if you're a Kiss fan, you don't need me to. And if you're not a Kiss fan, you don't care. So what I'm saying is, up until the point that they made Music from the Elder, they had always kept that band identity intact no matter what kind of studio subterfuge they were using. Even when they had ghost players and ringers, they still tried to keep that band identity. Now, Music from the Elder has very little Kiss DNA to it other than the voices and the name and the packaging and the credits. The actual sound of the album isn't very Kiss-like at all. They had completely abandoned whatever it is they had touched upon as a musical unit in the early days. There wasn't even that much of an inkling of potential success for the album. In other words, I don't think they could have made it any better. They did the best they could, as Paul Stanley points out, and it just didn't work. When you are creating things, when you are making art, you can never be sure of what you've got until after it's been released to the public, because it's the public's response that really completes the project. While it focused on having a character, a chosen one character, really doesn't have any audience outreach. So I think the album failed for the exact reasons that Gene Simmons states. And I think that his honesty and admitting to not only the fact that the album is a failure, but to his role in making it a failure is commendable. This is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Also check out the join button that's available now. If you become a channel member, you'll gain access to members only badges, members only polls, members only videos, and other cool perks you'll see when you click on the button. You can also help out the channel by clicking on the Buy Me a Coffee link, going to the Buy Me a Coffee site, and leaving a donation. Every little bit helps this channel stay strong. Thanks a lot.